Man, that was a barrel of laughs. That term was usually used to express when something was of great enjoyment. Okay, you found a lot of pleasure in that, and it entertained you or it made you laugh. But let's talk about that. See, back in the days, black people weren't allowed to laugh in public. So, what they would have to do is find the nearest barrel, usually outside somewhere, and they would have to shove their head into the barrel to get a laugh out. And that's where you get the term barrel of laughs. The more you know.
And I did. And this just goes to show that words and phrases mean things, so sometimes we need to watch what we say. Not saying that you need to know what everything means, but just be willing to learn about them. And that goes for me too. Today, the phrase a barrel of laughs means something that is entertaining, a source of fun. And when you actually look into it, the information that you mostly find is that the phrase began as the phrase a barrel of fun, and barrel in this context, it means lots of. And by the early 20th century, the expression, it morphed into a barrel of real laughs, and the final transformation into a barrel of laughs came a few years later. But is that true? Is that really where this phrase originated from? But what many people don't know is that during chattel enslavement in the South, enslaved Africans, they were not allowed to laugh on some plantations. So in an act of defiance and an act of survival, they would put their heads in barrels in order to laugh, to be out of sight and out of mind of their white enslavers. They were called laugh barrels. And why was laughing punishable? Because enslavers, they viewed laughing on the plantation as a form of disrespect to them. And this is the thought where the term barrel of laughs truly came from. And I can't say if this is the absolute origin, but what I do know is that laughing barrels were very real. Pause for just one moment and imagine what it must have been like to not even be allowed to laugh. Laughing barrels like this one, they serve as a stark reminder of A, the stringent regulations of the lives of the enslaved, and B, that the enslaved were adaptable and would brilliantly figure out ways to elicit joy while being oppressed by constant regulations. Stories about things like the laughing barrel, it can show us the unique crossroads of Black joy, that joy and laughter can run alongside grief and pain instead of replacing it.
This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 10, and it reads, For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well in teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners, and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Ayashar Barazal coming back at you with another lesson that is edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. All right, and this is another installment of our camps series called For Thy Violence Against Thy Brother Jacob. And pretty much this scripture, Obadiah 1 and 10, is talking about Esau Edom, the so-called white man, who is the devil that the Bible speaks of. He is also the wicked, according to Malachi 1 and 4. In the scriptures, the wicked of the, he just ain't right. That's all to it, and we see that through the stuff that he did to us, now, even more so, a lot of stuff that's coming out, what happened with slavery. As you just saw, it's like the more we dig, the more we find out about this devil and how he used anything to punish Jake. All right. This installment of For Thy Violence Against Thy Brother Jacob is going to be talking about the laughing barrel, or the barrel of laughs. Those videos, Jake was not even allowed to laugh during slavery. And some of the videos I've seen and watched, they hate to see us at peace, at any standpoint. Even when we were, we're not integrated with them. they came by and destroyed, everything that we had built, you know, to be self-sustaining, to make us dependent on them. All right, and this is just one of many things that were done on those plantations, to just have a way to punish Jake. All right, yeah. So in this scripture, Obadiah 1 and 10, like I said, it's talking about Esau Edom, and everything that's coming out about him and what he did to us during slavery, is bringing shame on him. That's the one thing he does not like, is the truth about himself, even though he's guilty of it. You did it. They don't want it brought back up. But no, this is coming up. This is one of those things. Okay? And because of everything that you've done to us, like the scriptures say, you're going to be cut off forever. You will be no more existent as a people. You're going to fly away as a dream, never to exist again. All right? And down in the verse 18 of this same chapter, that's going to be done by the people of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the nation of Israel. All right? After you serve twice as long and twice as hard as we did, according to the scripture, Obadiah 1 and 18, you will no longer exist. You're done, out of here. This world is a terrible place while you're in rulership. All right. So, let me just go ahead and get to this article. Well, just to the search on it, and I'll post the article link in the description box. But this is something else. It says the phrase "a barrel laughs" is thought to have originated from plantation owners who would force slaves to laugh in barrels to keep white plantation owners and slave patrols from hearing them. Some plantation owners considered slaves laughing to be disrespectful, so they would set up barrels for slaves to laugh in when they heard something funny. And it's kind of interesting when Israelites, with some like called so-called black people, and they laugh real hard, they do run off. That goes into what's that trauma that passed down through the DNA. It just made me think of that. They do run off and laugh real loud when they have to. All right. Let's see, to start back. Some plantation owners considered slaves laughing to be disrespectful, so they would set up barrels for slaves to laugh in when they heard something funny. To keep others from hearing them, slaves would hold their heads over the barrel, which were sometimes filled with water to stifle their laughter. I mean, you could choke to death, off of a hard laugh, mess around and inhale some water, a large amount of it. Man, this dude has got to go. They have got to go. The more you find out, that's just more ammo for the elect to add up, and hold them accountable for. All right. Continues on. Ralph Ellison's 1985 essay, An Extravagance of Laughter, also uses the idea of laughing barrels to explore the role of black laughter in the construction of a white supremacist social order. In the essay, Ellison uses a joke about laughing barrels to illustrate how black laughter has been a source of white anxiety, police intervention, and democratic resistance. Man. and that's the thing, they have an issue seeing us happy. You could be having a conversation at work, and two Jakes laugh, and they got to come up, hey, what's so funny, you guys? I like to know the joke. Mind your own fucking business. Get the fuck out of here, It's none of your business, Nobody goes up to you all asking what you're talking about. All right, and it is a sort they hate. I mean, just like you had the rule, the mob rule. You can have 2 or 3 or more blacks assembling in the same place. It was against the law to do that. They were trying to bring that back in Chicago, calling it mob activity. You couldn't have more than 2 Jakes standing together. As a matter of fact, even on that plantation, that they didn't want Jakes talking. All right, fearing an uprising. All right. Continuing on, a barrel of laughs is an expression that means something is very funny, but it can also be used negatively or ironically in a statement, like what had happened in slavery. Going down, it says enslaved Africans were not allowed to laugh on some plantations, and so, in an act of defiance as a mode of survival, they often stuck their heads into barrels in order to laugh out of sight and out of earshot of white slavers. Ain't that some shit? This apparently is where we get the term barrel of laughs. And you got to think, you know, uh, when they find Jake funny, this is one of the terms that they use. In other words, you should still be my slave. All right. So, man, this is so important that we go into these words and terms to understand what was really being said, especially about us. All right. There's a link to an article. I may post that. Well, I'm going to post that in there. Okay. Then go down to here. It says, what is the Barrel of Laughs plantation? And it says, white people viewed slaves laughing as a form of disrespect to them. And we know what could happen if they felt disrespected. You had two options: a severe beating or death. Okay, one of the two. You could also lose a limb. All right. Some plantation owners had barrels set up on the plantation, and when a slave heard something funny, they would have to run off to one of these barrels in order to laugh. Man, I'm gonna look into that too. Let's see. What is the laughing barrel in Black history? Laughing barrels were used to stifle noises made by slaves. Laughing or shouting by a slave was seen as disrespectful to so-called white people, and they're not white; they are pink. Okay, which is a shade of red. Okay, which is what Esau Edom is called. The so-called white man, Esau Edom, is called in Genesis 25:25. It's called red. Okay, and also as you've seen in the slide at the beginning of this video. All right, it says laughing or shouting by a slave was seen as disrespectful to red people. So if an enslaved person needed to laugh, they would rush to a barrel, stick their heads in it, and let it out. All right, let's see, going on down here. Yeah, that was a highlighted article I'm going to put in. Let me just get this one. Laughing barrels and the defiant spirit of black laughter. Okay. Start at the article. Okay. Seems like every year, this is from the Black Youth Project, Slovakia. Black Youth Project, written by Sharonda J. Brown, January 10th, 2020. All right. Right before all that bullshit started with that jump shot. All right. It says, seems like, well, at least in the United States, it goes on. It seems like every year I learn some new factoid about how plantations operated during the time of chattel slavery of African peoples in America. And those are not African people, those were Israelites, okay, who were transported from the west coast of Africa. Those were your Israelites, the southern kingdom of Israel, okay, with sprinkles of the other tribes, but primarily Judah, Levi, and Benjamin, respectively, your so-called Negroes, Levi being your Haitians, all right, and Benjamin, your West Indians or your Jamaicans, all right. All right, it says, I inevitably come across another unfortunate piece of knowledge that I wish I never had to know. At the same time, I always understand how it's of vital importance that these things be remembered, because white supremacy is always in the business of forgetting and deals exclusively in lies. This week I learned about laughing barrels. Enslaved Africans were not allowed to laugh on some plantations. So in an act of defiance and as a mode of survival, so yeah, they would have been killed, they often stuck their heads into barrels in order to laugh out of sight and out of earshot of white slavers. This apparently is where we get the term barrel of laughs. After quite a bit of research, I am still unsure of whether or not this is a myth, but I will proceed here with the understanding of laughing barrels as literal rather than figurative. Okay, that's a picture of a laughing barrel that you also saw in the slide. All right, and it goes on. Great. Here's yet another way that white devils oppress and dehumanize our people, I thought. Here's one more way they were deprived of very basic human needs and experiences, forced to find countless ways to better survive under the conditions created by white supremacist delusion and sadistic cruelty. And that's what they were, sadistically cruel, all right? But as I realized after some consideration, it was also a good and timely reminder that our enslaved ancestors laughed too. Their forbidden laughter is just as potent as a reminder as anything else that happened on the plantation of how so-called white people or red people tried their best to dehumanize. It says blackness here, but we know these were the Israelites. Dehumanize who we were as a people, okay? How red slavers and their accomplices actively strive to snuff out any reminders of humanity of black folks and took pleasure in being abusers. Okay. Let's see. 12 Years a Slave was the last slave film I ever watched. When Lupita Nyong'o admitted recently that she still hasn't gotten over the trauma of it, I felt some kind of relief, and then I felt guilty for feeling that relief. Let me be clear. I do not want this for her. She shouldn't have had to carry the trauma with her, and I wish like hell that she didn't have it. I only felt that moment of relief because I haven't gotten over the trauma of the film either. I haven't gotten over the trauma of the film either. Now, I know damn well my trauma doesn't stack up to hers. I was merely a spectator while she was a participant and an actor. She embodied the experience and gendered violence on the plantation in a way that I will never be able to even comprehend. And I feel nothing but resentment and anger for the fact that the film industry seems determined to keep recreating these traumas for us, spectators and participants alike. Well, on that note, when it comes to this truth, go ahead and show it. Go ahead and show it. Yeah, keep reminding us of what you did. That's even more reason for us to meditate terror, on your destruction when the time comes. When the Lord comes back, and like he said, by the hand of my people Judah, he's going to exact his vengeance on Edom. All right? And of course, this is a woman that wrote this. They want to take that easy path, but no, it's not easy. All right? So, let me see. I'm going to leave it there on that note. That's pretty much the gist of it on that barrel of laughs. But that was something that we could not do. And thing is, Esau will be repaid for all of that, one way or the other. He's going to be repaid for the stuff that he did, because like she said, it was a means of survival. So to laugh out loud, be heard laughing out loud, is one of those things that could have got you killed. All right, in addition to reading, and like one of the videos, like I said, one of the videos I watch, when we laugh real hard, we do run off and go somewhere, and then come back. I have seen that with my own eyes. All right. So, man, this is really, 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 really interesting. But like I said, let me go ahead and put some scriptures to it, because you got to pay Esau. This is book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 25. And it reads, "But he that doeth wrong shall receive for the wrong which he hath done, and there is no respect of persons." Okay? No respect of persons. Okay, so what you did to us It's going to happen to you. With the exception is, we're going to do it in righteousness. Okay? We're going to do it in righteousness. And no, don't want to hear, well, that wasn't me, that was my ancestors. No, the Lord either deals with the individual or he deals with the nation. All right? And based on the scriptures I'm going to bring out, he's going to be dealing with the entire nation of Edom. Okay? No exceptions. The entire nation. And just to prove that, this is the book of Job, chapter 34. I want to say verse 29. Okay? And it reads, when he giveth quietness, who then can make trouble? And when he hideth his face, who then can behold him? Whether it be done against a nation or against a man only. All right? So here again, that's his option, to deal with the nation or the individual. And like I said, according to Obadiah 1 and 18, he's dealing with the nation of Edom. All right? So you must pay, what did he say in Isaiah? Just to show you he's dealing with the nation. Isaiah 14 and 21. And it reads, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. So he said, prepare a slaughter for his children. Those are his descendants. Okay? Everybody from Esau on down. I mean, when I say Esau, that is the brother of Jacob. From him and everybody that came out of him. Okay? Edomites. All right? So you will never rise again. Okay? You will never be in rulership again. Ever. This is it. And you know it. All right? Verse 22. For I will rise up against them, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name Edom, gone, and the remnant, all of your descendants, and son and nephew, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And son and nephew, that's that seed line, all together. Okay? He said prepare a slaughter for his children. That word children goes back to the Hebrew word banyam, meaning sons. All right? Going to cut you off forever. Okay? Forever. Let's see here. I think I wanted to get, just to back that up, Sirach, is it 41? Children of an ungodly father, I believe. Yes. Okay. Starting at verse 5. The children of sinners are abominable children, and they that are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly. All right? And the children of sinners, that's all Esau does. He's called the man of sin. Okay? All right? And his children are abominable children, wicked, filthy, unrighteous. And they that are conversant, meaning they who are associated with them. How are you associated with them? Bloodline, descendants. Okay? In the dwelling of the ungodly. Verse 6. The inheritance of sinners' children shall perish. You have nothing else. Everything that they gained and took over. All right? You're not going to have anything else. And the posterity shall have a perpetual reproach. And what is that posterity? Let's get that in the Merriam-Webster's online dictionary. Posterity.
Posterity.
Okay. And it reads, definition number 1, the offspring of one progenitor to the furthest generation. That's the whole nation. Beginning with Esau, Edom, the twin brother of Jacob, Israel, Yasharallah. Definition 2, all future generations. Let's go back to that. The inheritance of sinners' children shall perish, and their posterity shall have a perpetual reproach. And that word perpetual means everlasting, continual. Just like you have that perpetual hatred for Jake. Yeah. A perpetual reproach or rebuke. Okay? Verse 7. The children will complain of an ungodly father because they will be reproached for his sake. And that's what you're getting right now. That's why you're trying to say, oh, come on, we can all get along. That was so long ago. You know, can't you guys forgive? Fuck no. No, ain't no forgiveness here. But you can't be forgiven. You know, forgiveness and repentance is only for the children of Israel, according to Acts 5, 30 and 31. All right? It's not for you. You have no parts in this. You are going to be destroyed when this is all over for the shit you pulled on us, that you did to us. All right? It is going to happen. All right? By the hand of his people. All right? This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, beginning at verse 19. And it reads, Egypt shall be a desolation. Egypt, in this sense, is a house of a bondage. Okay? And where is that? Here in America, which is what Edom rules, as the rest of the world. You know, the wicked it's given it, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, according to Job 9 and 24. Okay? It says, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness. Okay? It's America. Okay? You know this place is called spiritual Sodom and Egypt. Okay? And we know why. All right? It says, for the violence against the children of Judah, you know, beating them, making them find ways of survival for laughing, you know. For the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. And, you know, we see that now. We see that now. Jake being shot down. You know, the modern day lynching is the well, they still actually doing it with the rope and stuff, but the one with the gun, you know, it's murder. All right, verse 20. But Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation. Okay, that's when we have that immortality, the law, statutes, and commandments on our inward parts. Okay, those new bodies, that spiritual power, that's something you're going to have to deal with. You know, the things we used to be able to do with our bare hands, that's something you're going to have to deal with. You know, far superior to your sword or the weapons that you want to use. All right. Verse 21. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for the Lord dwelleth in Zion. Okay. Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai dwelleth in Zion. Okay. So yeah, he says he's going to cleanse the blood that he has not cleansed. How is he going to do that? This is the book of Numbers 35 and 33. And it reads, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land. Okay? Whose blood has defiled this land? Jake's. The nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay? Scripture saying, Jeremiah 50 and 33, Judah and Israel are oppressed together here in Babylon. Okay? Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon. All right, back in Numbers 35, 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. That's true reparations, Esau, Edom. You know, that goes back to the law, a life for a life. You shed our blood continuously, your blood will be shed continuously. All right, you back that up. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35. Okay. Get straight to the point. We know this is talking about Edom because up in verse 2, it says, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. Okay, and we know Mount Seir is the land that was given to Esau, Edom. All right, back in Genesis 36, I believe. All right, now getting to the point. Ezekiel 35, verse 5. It's talking to Esau, Edom. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity. Okay? The time of our calamity. And that's when we're in slavery. Okay? And in the time that their iniquity had an end. Okay? You still doing it. Zechariah 1 and 15 said, he's sore displeased with the heathen, meaning mainly you, because you furthered our affliction. Okay? Verse 6. Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh our power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So yeah, just as you shed our blood, yours is going to be shed. You know, relentlessly. All right, but in righteousness. And I'll close out with this. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, beginning in verse 9. And it reads, if a man have an ear, let him hear. You know, if a man has understanding, let him understand. Verse 10, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Okay, who led us into captivity. Now, all nations had a part in our spoils. You know, it's talked about in Maccabees. Okay, but who's had us for the longest? Okay, all the way from the Greek captivity, you know, throughout the Roman captivity, and then we came back into rulership after the conquest of the Romans, you know, all the way through the Dark Ages, and then the Renaissance period, you know, transatlantic slave trade. You know, you had us in captivity since then, and not to mention every captivity that we were in, the ancient captivities. Okay, Amalek, the so-called Jewish people today, was the first to attack us as we were exiting out of Israel. Okay, I mean Egypt, Salakia, as we were exiting out of Egypt. All right, you were the first to come up from behind and kill anyone you could, especially the weaker ones, the ones who were feeble. Okay, when we were in the Babylonian captivity, you helped burn down our temple. Okay, the Syrian captivity, you know, you told, I believe it was Nebuchadnezzar or one of his captains. I can't remember the story verbatim, but it's in Judith. You know, you showed them what to do to us. Okay, how to cut us off. So you had a hand in our demise for a very long time, and you're gonna pay for it. Okay, it goes on. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. That sword was your blessing. According to Genesis 27, it was your blessing. Okay? And, you know, we're going to turn around and you know, do unto you as you did unto us, but in righteousness. And it says, here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Who are the saints? The Israelites, according to Psalms 50 and 5 and Psalms 148, verse 13 and 14. All right? So you got it coming back, you know. You will be recompensed for everything that you did to us. All right? So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. Once again, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners, and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom, Kwam Yasharala. We got next. Going down, Esau Edom. For good.